Boom, 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 boom. That really gets you going on a Thursday, doesn't it, boys, eh?
It does.
Fuck me, there's so many of us on the screen. What's going on?
It's
Jesus.
one lovely sack of human nature.
Jesus.
Sack of human nature. Nice.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment, Tom.
It is.
You absolute sack of human nature.
Yes, mate.
I've
I
been
lost
called
my
a sack of
words because I was saying it. I was going
How are
to say
we?
humanity and it all just went a bit.
Christ,
all I can think of is that old cartoon, Raggy Dolls, Sad Sack. You remember that?
Oh.
Or was that Beyond? Yeah, Raggy Dolls.
No, I remember that.
Raggy
Raggy
Dolls.
Dolls.
They used to call me at school.
I was like, you and me.
Positivity, lads, yeah.
Absolutely positivity on a Thursday afternoon.
Yay, Thursday.
How are we all doing? All good?
Yeah.
It's good to see so many familiar faces in the chat. Fuzzy Dunlop, we've got James Breen, we've got Bat Dan, we've got Dr. Von Hoot, we've got Wayne Deacon. Yeah, we've got Comic Lads on. We've got loads of people. It's buzzing, and it's always good to have a full house. Andy, you was on last night. You're back again. We really can't do enough to try and fucking get rid of you, mate. But you still keep coming back. So
It's like a bad Scottish smell.
it's all right. Welcome.
Linger.
Welcome. That's it. It's like COVID. You think you got it, and then it fucking comes up as another variant. But it's all right. It's good to have you back, mate. It's very, very good to have you back. But it's a full team tonight. There's all four of us. We've got some wicked comics that we're reviewing tonight. What do you want to do? Do you want to jump straight into the killer covers? Should we do some pickups? Anyone got any preferences, Andy?
Killer covers.
Killer covers. Let's do the killer covers. Before we do that, we should probably just jump into the chat. Let's have a quick look. Chris Bell, evening. A jolly good evening, folks. Good evening. Fuzzy Dunlop, people of the internet rejoice. There's some good chat going around on the wrestling chat at the moment with myself and Fuzzy Dunlop and Von Hoot. So
The wrestling chat.
that.
The wrestling chat.
God.
yes, the wrestling chat.
Wrestling
Men in bloody tights, isn't it?
Tom, you're in that group chat.
I know, yeah. I need to go back and read it. I'm well behind. I'm like 6 months behind. I have wrestling friends. I have friends.
Good evening, James. Good evening, Dan. Good evening, Von Hoot. Good evening, Wayne Deacon. Thank you for stopping by. Hey, Simon, welcome very much. Liam Redsters, we've got Whatnot Royalty in the house, and we have Dead Man as well. Thank you for your message, mate. I've literally just read it about Elvira. So massive thank you for that. So yes, as always, we shall just jump straight in.
I've just realised the names. Brilliant.
Oh, I missed that one. Sorry, lads. I tried to change it when it just didn't. I couldn't do it in time. So, as always, this is the Killer Covers new comic book day, which was yesterday. This is January the 24th. This is where we get serious. This is where the friendship goes out the window for at least 15 minutes, if not longer. You know the drill by now, lads. Up first, we have...
What? 'Tis I. Resurrection of Magneto #1. Well, rolled me. Oh, there he is. Resurrection of Magneto #1.
Oh, yes,
This
you
is
did.
Erection.
Did you say erection?
Yes.
The erection
said
of
it.
Magneto.
The way you said it gave me one.
Oh, thank you very much. My wife's never said that to us. This is the negative space variant. This is John Tyler Christopher. These have been done to death, let's be honest. I know that. But I quite like this one. I thought this looked pretty cool. I like the way his helmet disappears into the red. I like the purple of the cape. I just think it looks pretty cool.
That's only one month, that.
So yeah, I quite like these. I'm glad I didn't go down the rabbit hole of collecting all of these, mine, because I think there's about 400 of them now, isn't there? But yeah, I do like this. I think it looks pretty smart. And I'm a sucker for Magneto's costume anyway, the purple and the red. I think it looks awesome.
I do like these negative space variants, but you'll see with what Tom's picked as well. They would have seen them on Instagram, but what I'm saying is that I'd like to see John Tyler Christopher do something different.
Yeah.
Like flip it on his head somehow. I don't know how he's going to do it, but it would be great for him to do it because they all seem the same. Like obviously, it's a great cover. Don't get me wrong, and it is the old Magneto cover and everything like that. But it's just they have been done to death, and even Pete, you even said it yourself. So
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't think these covers get as much kudos as they probably should. because I think obviously your focus is on the fact that it's a negative space and the use of the color and stuff. But if you just take a minute just to look at how good the faces are in these covers, especially this one, I think this is fantastic. I have this in order, so yeah, I'm one of those suckers that have had to. Once you get them, you have to collect them all. So I think this is great.
He's done a lot of them now as well, hasn't he? I mean, there is a fair few out there.
Yeah, he has the market cornered.
Great ones, yeah.
Yeah, and the Darkwing Duck negative space was a sign. Enough is enough. Yuko demonstrates. Good evening, sir. Chris Bell. To be fair, that wasn't well executed, Fuzzy. And for one, he could actually do them in negative to start with. That's he could do a negative space cover. That I don't think he's done that, has he?
I don't know what that would be.
Don't even know
How
what
would that work?
means.
What's a negative?
What does that mean?
Yeah,
My brain's slowly. I'm like, as if I've got an itch inside my brain at the minute. Like, what does that mean?
I feel like I'm having a stroke.
So yes, there'll be a few of them tonight, mate. Especially with the erection of Magneto, issue number 1. Up next, there we go. And guess what? This wasn't my pick. This wasn't my pick for a change.
This is what I've been waiting for. Since he sent this is what I've been waiting for. Please, Andy, go for it.
There's a lot made about the way that I say Jenny Frison on the show. I went for Harley Quinn. I went for Harley Quinn issue number 36, cover B by the fantastic Jenny Frison. I seen somebody commented on, I can't remember who it was, saying that there's a lot of these and the same with the negative space and it's all kind of the same. But I think there's something quite special about this particular cover that drew me to picking it up in Slab Crusaders, and I think I even might have ordered it in a 9.8 as well. I'm not entirely sure, but obviously you've got the use of the love hearts, and again with any Jenny Frison cover, it's those eyes, lovely.
Yeah, I love this. This is awesome. There's not even anything else I can say about this cover. It's sensational. It's a Harley Quinn. It's a Jenny Frison. Take my money.
Ticks all those boxes, doesn't it?
Yep.
Takes all of Charlie's boxes.
Yes, it does. For my penchant of Harley Quinn. And what else is there to say about it? There's nothing else to say about this. This is awesome. It's lovely.
It's a really
Peter,
good cover.
Tom?
It's all right, isn't it?
Wow.
I was gonna say I think it's a really good cover. I think it's a really good Jenny Frison cover, in all fairness. And I think Andy always talks about how she does hands and how she does facial expressions. And this is a really good one, to be fair. But I do agree with Fuzzy. This is the second best Frison cover this week, because there is one every month.
But what was the second one? Second best. What was the first best Jenny Frison this week then?
I think he's been
facetious.
He's been facetious. And back then it said this could be Frison's last Harley Quinn cover for a while.
Nice. There's
the Dracula one. Ooh. There we go. The Dracula one is better.
Oh yes, of course, yes. Yeah.
It's very good.
No, I think this one's better.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, no, this is great. It's a lovely cover, and it would look great as a 9.8 that you can head over and Slab Crusaders, and you should have been able to pick it up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Up
sure,
next,
it was on FAC, did we do on?
Yeah. I've gone for Boom's Studio Slow Burn issue number 4, cover C, which is the 1 in 10 Matt Taylor variant. The reason why I went like this, I picked this pretty late. I kind of went like this because this is how my head's been feeling this week with work. And I was like, I strolled along this and I was like, this is great. This fits in. And it's totally different. And also, if you haven't read Slow Burn yet, I hadn't until I see this cover and I got into it. I really like it. It's really good. And I know we spoke last night, Andy, how Boom Studios have kind of dropped the ball, as it were, but it's a really good cover, and I just thought this is a really, really great cover. Like what's going on in it, the use of the colour, the tattoos, the chains, everything. I really enjoyed it. It's like his head is literally exploded with the amount of shit that he's been dealing with. So yeah, that's why I went with it.
I think it's like cool cover. Yeah, I like it. It's a cover that would intrigue me to find out what the story's about.
That's exactly what it did. Yeah.
I haven't read any Slow Burn, but I definitely consider checking it out. It's the fact that it's a 1 in 10 as well. I wonder how many copies of this is actually getting sold, because it's no one that's kind of been spoken about much as far as I recall. But yeah, decent cover, and certainly one that I'll be checking out.
I think it's just like what we said before. This like the whole like if you see it on the shelf, will it draw my eye in? Out of all the comics we've picked, I think they all would intrigue me, but this one I'd have to have a look at first because it's something I've not seen before. This is something very different that I've not necessarily seen. So I think if I saw this on the shelf, although I love all the covers we've got this week, this one would be the first one I'd be drawn to. So yeah, good pick, mate.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Tom. I think, to be fair, the negative space has been done to death. Sorry, Andy, but Harley Quinn covers are done to death. This is different. This is something I've not seen. The image is interesting. I'm loving the way his skin seems to be kind of just bursting from the side of his head there. It looks different, and I've not heard of this series at all. So this is one I would go back and read, I think, and pick up.
Coincidentally, this is actually the face that Charlie made after the first FOC show.
It was. That's exactly
It's the face I made during the FOC show, about 3 hours into it, I think.
But the ironic thing is, like the FOC show, it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. But you know, Andy, do you know what this comic reminded me of? Was the Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
Yeah, it has definitely has that vibe about it, doesn't it? Especially, I think like the third issue, there was a character that actually resembles that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, so that is the killer covers. We've got myself, you got Andy, you got Pete, and then hold on. Have we got? Oh, there's no more covers. There's no more covers. Oh wait, yes there is. Just pull in your leg, Thomas. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Off you go.
Don't do this to me. I'm a sensitive soul.
Really?
Yes, you know I am.
So what we got
yeah,
here?
I've
What
gone
we got,
for
Louis?
the John Tyler Christopher cover of the Star Wars issue 41, which was announced ages and ages ago. So I was quite excited to put this one on here. But as we said, the negatives have been done to death. But I think this one's pretty stunning.
This was announced in October, I believe.
Yeah, man. So going a long way back. But I had to pick it. Darth Maul's one of my favorite characters, so I had to pick this one as my cover this week.
I like this. I do like this, and it's ironic that there was two obviously red covers out that with a similar person and similar stuff. But yeah, I think I prefer this one to the Magneto one. I know the detailing on Magneto's face and stuff like that, but as you said, like Darth Maul's a great character. But is this really honestly a negative space? Really?
Yes.
Like when you look, yeah, but when you look at the Magneto one, it lends itself more to you having to kind of fill in the blanks, whereas this you can clearly see. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like you kind of see it's Darth Maul. There's not much missing from it.
Well, that would suggest that it's a good negative space cover if you can tell instantly who it is.
Exactly.
No,
It sounded so much better in my head.
I
keep it there next time.
I love it. I love this cover. It's actually on sale tonight. If you remember all John Tyler Christopher's mailing list, there's this one, and I think it comes with another one for Asajj Ventress. It's like a purple negative space cover. So I might be partaking in picking those up tonight, hopefully.
I'm so
What is the price that they normally go for?
Yeah, I think it's $20 for just a raw copy, and it's $75 for a 9.8 graded yellow label.
It's not that bad, really, is it? Really, to be fair. And
cheapest chips for a yellow label.
Yeah.
And then would that go to your stat crew?
Yeah, that would be the plan. Yeah, that's what I've done with the Boba Fett covers that he done. I just got the 9.8s and a couple of the raws and sold the raws, which made up for the post and packaging to get them sent over here. So.
See, I knew it wasn't just me with a simple mind. Even Comic Lad Simon said, not much negative, but you can't diss them all.
I mean, yeah, but Comic Lad Simon.
Oh.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow.
You know, I love you, Simon.
That was harsh. That was harsh. But yes, here's the four covers. We got Tom's, we got mine, we got Andy's, and we got Peter's as well. That's the four covers. Tom, if you could do the do's and get the community tab going, can you do that?
I have.
That's really going to confuse people. Right? Who's Andy 2.0? Who's Andy?
There we go. Yeah, that's it. Has he done that? He has. No, that's it. That's the thing. So, either way, Andy's a winner tonight, isn't he? Because I call Peter Andy, I call Tom Charlie, I call me myself Andy, and then Tom Andy as well. So that's what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, those are the four covers, killer covers. They went over on Instagram Live yesterday, so it'd be interesting to see who actually wins that. But we don't have just one comic tonight. No, we don't. We don't have two. We have actually three, because there were three fantastic comics that we decided to go with this week. Up first was Cobra Commander, issue number 1. We've got Kill Your Darlings, issue number 5, and then we've got the Deviant, issue number 3. I think we can all agree that these were pretty decent comics from last week.
Yeah, I think it was a good week this week for comics. I think we plenty to choose. I was saying that to Peter on a private chat that I've sort of got back in the last couple of weeks to reading quite a lot of comics, and sort of got that love of it back. In particular this week, even some of the Marvel and DC stuff, I was kind of given a reading. They were fairly good, but yeah, I think these three were probably the pick of the bunch.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, I had some time to pick up some comics this week and go back and read a few older issues, and like some of the Marvel stuff, the Daredevil run at the moment is really, really strong. You know, there's some really good comics out there at the moment, and these are 3 very different but very interesting books, I think.
Yeah.
But it's also, we touched on the Punisher last night on the FOC show as well, and that's an awesome run. Yeah, like, that's a really, really good run as well. Yeah. But yeah, maybe Marvel are turning the corner. I wonder how many same stories are going to put out this year, eh? But, but yeah, so up first we have Cobra Commander. I think there was probably about 15 covers this week. You've got the main cover by Josh Hickson. You've got cover B, which is the David Arja variant cover. You've got cover C, which is my favourite, it's the 1 in 10 Tyler Boss variant. And then you've got the Wanted Comics Maria Wolf variant cover, written by Joshua Williamson, and then the art is by Andrea Milian. Guys, who wants to take this away? Because I hadn't really, I'm the same as Chris Bell. I didn't really have much history or previous knowledge of the Cobra Commander before I kind of picked up this as well and read it, which was interesting. So if any of you guys have got any previous, Peter or Tom, I'm kind of looking at you because you're legends of the Energon universe. So if one of you want to take it away.
Want me to, Tom?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah. So I guess I'd start off by saying I'm probably as much like a lot of you guys. I'm familiar with G.I. Joe or Action Force over here in the UK, from the cartoon in the 80s and the action figures and all that kind of stuff. So I've never been as into the mythology as I am with, say, Transformers, but I'm aware of it. G.I. Joe has always, to me, been G.I. Joe versus Cobra, which is the kind of the terrorist organization. But there was around the same time as Transformers the movie, I think it was a year later, they did G.I. Joe the movie, and they introduced in that this concept of Cobra Law, which was a kind of a more science fiction kind of element to G.I. Joe, which I hadn't had before, and it kind of steeped in history and mythology about these snake people and stuff like that. I absolutely wasn't expecting that's what this comic would be. I was 100% going into it thinking we're going to get the traditional Cobra Commander learning to be a terrorist and all that kind of stuff. So I have to say it threw us a little bit at first, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really interesting take on the character. I thought it was an interesting first issue. I think it's a brave first issue because I think a lot of people like me will have gone in expecting it to be, you know, not as sci-fi as it potentially is. But when we're looking at the wider Energon universe, this fits perfectly. It makes sense for them to pick up on this kind of a narrative. I thought it was great. I thought that the art didn't blow us away, I have to say, at times. The storytelling was pretty good. If I'm being really, really honest, what I would say is I enjoyed it. I'll definitely read on. But out of all of the Energon universe books we've read so far, this is probably my least favourite. I thought Duke was far stronger. I thought Void Rivals was stronger. And Transformers, as we know, is sensational. But that doesn't mean this is a bad book. It just means it wasn't as stellar as the others were, I guess. Certainly got us intrigued, and I'll certainly be reading on, I think.
Tom?
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree with Peter. I think I went in thinking this was going to be more of the terrorist style of Cobra Commander, not the mythological Cobra Law version of Cobra Commander. So I was pleasantly surprised that they went down that route. And I like that they stuck to the tradition of you actually never seeing his face, because he's never actually seen his face in anything. So I liked that they did that. I thought the story was strong as like a build-up story. I think this one's probably going to lend itself to more of a graphic novel or a trade paperback than reading it single-issually. I totally agree with the whole, it's probably the weakest one of all the Energon universe kind of stuff that we've got going on. but it's still a really good book, and I think it's one of the better books out there. It definitely shits on a lot of the Marvel books, which is always good at the moment. But I really enjoyed it. I thought the art was good. I thought the story was good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see where it goes. And I actually think the ending was superb and a great tie-in. But I don't know if you guys have picked up on it from this one and Duke. This is obviously set a lot further into Transformers than what Transformers currently is going on, if that makes sense.
So I think I can't remember the exact time frame, Tom, but in Duke 1, I'm sure it said like it was months after, because he was in therapy, wasn't he, from what had happened in Transformers issue 2 or something. So I got the impression it was like 6 months later or something like that. So you're right, there's a definite time jump at that point.
Yeah, which makes me think that when it comes to Daniel Warren Johnson ending his time on Transformers, that it will move from Earth, if that makes sense. Yeah. So they will have left Earth by then, and then someone else takes over as the writer and artist. No, not writer, the artist. He's still doing the writing, isn't he? He's full on ongoing as the writer. But yeah, no, I just thought that'd be the interesting thing to bring to the table.
Or there'll be a big time jump, won't there? There might be that at his end of his arc, it'll then jump to 6 months in the future, so they've been established on Earth or something for that time.
Yeah, I've got to say, as I mentioned, I didn't really know much about the Cobra and stuff like that. So, but I mean, within the first 2 pages, I picked this panel on the left hand side. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is a bit of me. This was interesting. Really, really enjoyed it. And if you haven't read it already, I'm just going to give away a spoiler straight away from the bat. I'm going to talk about the ending, what Tom did. This is basically Cobra Commander introducing Megatron into the whole Energon universe and stuff like that. So there is a time jump and stuff like that, because in Transformers, the previous issue, we kind of find Megatron without a head. So this is obviously we're going to find out about that. This was just all about bringing Transformers and the machine life into a civilization that is scared of machinery and scared of technology and stuff like that. I found it great. I love the fact that you got G.I. Joe siding with, he's like siding with the population to fight against the Transformers, and then like Cobra Commander's coming in, and like he's clearly fully aware of like the Megatron's existence and stuff, and he clearly has he's finding out about the Transformers and stuff. So I was really, really interested in this. I didn't really know much about it, but as the pages went on, I got to agree with you, Pete. Some of the art was a bit shoddy, but then it kind of worked well with the dialogue that was happening. For me, there was probably 4 or 5 pages with no writing at all, and I think that was a bit slapdash. I would have liked a bit more on these pages, especially that one on the right hand side, and then I think some of the pages leading up to the end. But overall, I think loved Duke. I thought that was awesome. Transformers is absolutely killing it. Void Rivals, I've gone back and read that since Transformers, and this, with it being in issue 1, I don't think it was as strong as the other 3 that came before it. But I can't see this being any weaker than I can just see this going stronger and stronger. Like the whole Energon universe is just going to get massive, and it's just great to be a part of it, because I'm very excited to be part of it. Andy?
Yeah, no, I guess there's not a huge amount to say from what you guys have said, but I think for me, I was kind of a limited knowledge of the sort of lore and history of G.I. Joe. I was always a fan of it, but I didn't really know this character that well. I think what this comic issue does well is it kind of gives you that bit of a backstory. It gives you a wee bit of fan service as well, so it keeps the diehard fans happy. And it really gives you an insight for those that don't know the character, how sort of kind of a scary this character can be. And it turned quite dark. Of all the Energon comics that we've read so far, I think this is probably one of the darkest of the lot. You can tell that he's going to make a huge impact one way or another on the whole Energon universe. So yeah, for me, I thought the writing was tight. I thought it was good. I thought the darker take on a classic character made it quite an exciting read. And I don't think you have to be the biggest G.I. Joe fan to enjoy this comic as a standalone comic, because I think this could be any character. I think the way that it's written could be anything. What I did ask myself when I finished it was, like, would I keep reading this if this wasn't part of the wider Energon universe? And the answer would probably be no. I don't think it was strong enough to keep me interested. But I'm almost forced into a corner to read it because I know that it's going to have huge impacts on the wider universe. So for that reason, I will definitely be reading issue number 2. But don't let the fact, if you don't know a huge amount about this character or G.I. Joe, put you off this, because this definitely stands alone, and I think it could stand alone from that Energon universe.
Sorry, Pete.
It's really interesting that they've actually gone down this route, because again, my knowledge is not the best on this, and I'm fuzzy a little bit, but my understanding is that the Cobra Law storyline wasn't well received by fans. Fans didn't want the
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way, mate. No, it was one of those things where they
move, isn't it, to do this?
Yeah, they
I think
kind of burnt the writers' pictures at the pitches, didn't they, over it?
Yeah.
But then the same thing happened with the 1980s Transformers movie, because as soon as they killed off Prime, people stopped watching it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for anyone that's not seen it.
Von Hoot just said, I assume Transformers were set in the future from Cobra because of a missing head in an iceberg. Now, I kind of looked into this with like all the futuristic, and I didn't know what was happening, right? So I've got a quote. It says, we now have, tying into the Energon universe, and now we've got the 4-4 comics out, we now have Duke on the G.I. Joe side hunting down the Transformers, most notably Starscream. Cobra Commander is now fully aware of the existence, and Optimus Prime using Megatron's arm. So when I was confused when I found that out, because didn't Optimus Prime lost his arm, didn't he?
Yeah.
In one of the issues. But
yeah,
did he start using Megatron's arm? Because
that's what he has at the end of issue 4.
Yeah, at the end of issue 4, you see Megatron's body, don't you, in the ice?
Yeah, but he's only missing a head, which is what I'm confused about.
He's not missing a head.
He was missing a head.
He's not missing a head in the ice. His whole, it's just his torso in the ice. So basically exactly the same as what Cobra Commander's got.
But then it led me on to think, is there more missing parts of Megatron scattered throughout, like Void Rivals and GI and Duke and stuff?
Possibly. I'm just looking now.
I'm not sure.
To be fair.
Not sure.
Because then that kind of led me back to go through Void Rivals to see if there was any like Easter eggs of any clues given before we knew it was Megatron. Do you see where I'm going?
So in the ice, I've just got the image up now. In the ice, he's still got a head. He's still got his head. He's just got no cannon arm, which is what Optimus Prime's now got.
Which is right. Okay, cool.
But he's still got his head. I think it's quite hard to see, but yeah, he has.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was going to be my point. Last one, to be honest.
I think it's an indication that Daniel Warren Johnson's artwork, and I think I said that when we reviewed the comic, that there was bits of it where I was trying to work out what body was whose, and especially when the two of them were fighting. Mm-hmm. And I actually messaged Peter to say who is that in the ice. I had no idea who it was, so I think that's a lot to do with the artwork. You don't know which bit is which.
I mean, I agree. I think that the timeline isn't being spelled out for it at the moment. I don't think. But my thought is that G.I. Joe and Cobra Commander are happening at the same time, which is 6 months or so ahead of the Transformers comic. So I think that's how it's trying. It is a little bit confusing, I guess. It would be easier if they kind of spelled it out a bit more.
It would have been easier still great if they'd have done 6 months of Transformers and then released
release this. Yeah.
I mean, the Energon universe is still awesome, and I'm just it's going to be wicked. But a lot of people are saying in the chat they got to like issues 3 of Void Rivals and then switched off. I think I did the same. I got bored, and then when Transformers came out, I kind of read that. Then Duke came out, so I've gone back and read Void Rivals, and it does make more sense now. It does make more sense with the timeline and stuff. It's not as confusing as an X-Men timeline, but it's still pretty confusing.
Void Rivals for me is another good example of why I prefer to read in like a trade paperback format, because reading it monthly, I kind of got lost a little bit. Whereas I did the same as you, Charlie. I went back and read the last. I think it's up to issue 6 or something now. Or whatever, and I read them all in one go, and it made much more sense. It felt smoother,
Did
you guys ever read Saga?
I've got it to read, but I haven't read it yet.
So I think Saga is very much similar to Void Rivals in the way that it's obviously 2 warring factions and a bit like Romeo and Juliet style thing. But I think that story lends itself to reading it as a trade or a graphic novel, because I read Saga originally issue by issue, and I got really bored with it after like the first 10 issues. I was like, this is just going nowhere. And then, but if you read it in one compendium or like as a trade, it made much more sense and a lot more enjoyable.
I mean, to be honest, probably my favorite comic book of all time up till now, obviously, Invincible. I've only read the omnibuses, the compendiums, 3 volumes compendiums. I think if I'd read that in single issues, I would have probably gotten bored month to month.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it is quite a slow comic, you know.
Yeah.
Apart from when they're pulling heads off and stuff, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Same as Spawn as well. I think Spawn's very similar in that respect.
Well, Spawn is on 350 issues and now just dropping in one for Slab Crusaders. If you head over there, any comic cover you buy, whether it be the Slab Crusade or the Slab Crusade Plus Raw, you put in Spawn 350 and you will get a 10% discount off your purchase. So head over and do that. But overall, I think I'll give this probably a 7. I think it was the weakest one out of 2, weakest one out of 4. I think the artwork at some points kind of just threw me off, and I wasn't as invested as I've been with the previous comics, but that might be because of my knowledge on Cobra Commander isn't as good as it is on the like Transformers and Duke and stuff like that. What about you guys?
6 for me.
7.
I'd say 6 on the basis that I don't think I was as invested in this book, but I felt obliged to read it because it was part of that universe.
Oh, there we go. It's now 20% discount after CGC reducing prices announcement. There you go. So
brilliant.
Nice. Cheers, James.
So right, I'm going to go and I'll speak to you in the next couple of hours. But yeah, head over there, 20% off by putting Spawn 350 into your comics and stuff. Have fun. Crack on. But yeah, so that was Cobra Commander issue number 1. Up next was Kill Your Darlings issue number 5. We've been loving this. We've reviewed every single issue, and we were lucky enough a couple of weeks ago to have Griffin Sheridan in the chat. Was very active and was telling us that there's going to be 2 arcs and it's all coming to a head now. This is Image Comics. Kill Your Darlings issue number 5, written by Ethan S. Parker and the art by Griffin Sheridan. Main cover by Bob Quinn and then cover B by Ryan Stegman. Pete, sorry I cut you off there, mate. What was you going to say?
No, I was just doing a kind of a because it was such an emotional issue. This one, yeah.
Andy, you're back on the show. Have you been reading this? If so, what have you been thinking of it?
I read all 5 issues back to back on this one. As soon as I kind of got wind that this was going to be one that we'd be reading, and I'm again, it's another one. Blood Commandments was one of those books, but this is another one where I'm so glad that I did. I know that you guys speak very highly of it, and one of the creators was in the chat, so I was really intrigued and interested to see what it was all about. I think it's fair to say for issue number 5, it kind of took a bit of a turn. It was almost like you got your first 4 issues. We'll take a little bit of a break and we'll go look at one of these characters and we'll get a wee bit of their backstory just to make everything that you've read in the last 4 issues a little bit more. It almost made you go back and read those 4 issues again based on what you find out in issue number 5. I love the backstory. I think the creator's done a really good job at sort of bringing a bit of context to the bigger story of this book. And it was really dark. Again, it was another issue of comics where I think, in fairness, over the 3 comics we read this week, some of the tone and some of the storylines were really quite dark. And I think testament to specifically the artist on this book at bringing across some of those really sort of horrific moments. There's one in particular where the woman has been in some sort of either car crash or she's been attacked, and you can see that page on the left hand side that I chose. You can just see the way that the panels are set up, that you just get a real sort of feeling and idea that she's in so much pain and she needs help, but you're kind of like unsure whether or not she's for real or whether she's acting, and you just didn't know what was going on. And then, Pete, I know that you picked the panel on the right hand side. What was your sort of thoughts and feelings on that one?
So yeah, this. I mean, I love this series. I'm pleased you're enjoying it, Andy. This issue for me was just a kick in the nuts. It was just an absolute emotional roller coaster, and it's a testament to the artist, but also the writer. The scenes in the car accident. The young kid looking and kind of just speaking and just drifting away. I found that heartbreaking. I really did. Yeah. The image I picked of the old lady is because I'm starting to, as I know you do, Andy, I'm starting to kind of try and figure out what's going on with the wider picture and stuff. I'm assuming that that's the lady we saw come into the store at the end of the previous issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm presuming that she's some kind of witch or whatever, and she's cursed this family because the girl who's going into her head and memories and all the rest of it is the daughter, the baby that this lady's had, isn't it? So this lady who was going to have to give birth, that's going to be the kid that then goes into her memories, her mind, and all the rest.
Yeah. So the mum is mum is Andrea, and they're telling the story of Andrea and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's all going to be linked, I think, to the old lady, some kind of witch casting a curse or something on them for hurting that kid. I just love it. I think it's a great, intriguing story.
But you know what? Like, I think it's so. I was kind of reading it. I know there's a second arc coming up, but on some of the websites, they've said that issue 5 is the start of the second arc.
Yeah, that's what I took from it.
Yeah. So, because I think issue 4 ended on such a good cliffhanger, whereas issue 5, like for me, this was still a heart-wrenching, proper emotional issue. Because we're now, as I mentioned, we've gone back and we're now overseeing. Because I think with issue number 1, you kind of got the inkling that Rose didn't really have a good relationship with her mum, and there was something always there. And then now going back into the past and stuff like that, you kind of find out why Andrea's like that and what she's had to go through, like getting rid of her like down and out guy that she slept with, and literally doing everything she can to make ends meet. And then obviously it's just. This was so emotionally driven, man. There's some seriously tragic scenes in it, like Andy, where you picked where she knocked over that woman's grandson on the side of the road. That was like, I think the opening 15 pages of the comic book. Like, well, for the first 2 pages of the prologue, there's a woman there with her elbow hanging out and her eyes all out of her face. I just thought this was great, and like, I know when Griffin said a couple of weeks ago, like, stay tuned because we're going to do some stuff that you wouldn't expect from this comic book. I am absolutely loving it. This for me is, I've said it time and time again, it's a fusion of I Hate Fairyland mixed with some, I don't know, like some spine-tingling horror comics that are out there at the moment. And it's so enjoyable to read. I'm just loving it. I'm just interested to see what they've got coming up for the next 4 or 5 issues, because it perfectly sets up a second arc. Because I think everyone was invested in the Little Elephant and Rose and stuff like that, the whole of Dungeons and Dragons type of folklore and stuff. And then we're kind of back in this, and the art is sensational. Like, and that woman at the end just scares the hell out of me, because she's obviously she's the grandmom of the woman on the left hand side who's been knocked over and dead, and she's just out for vengeance. But I think you're right. I think she's cursed the family, and I think Rose is now paying dividends to that.
I was just wondering what the connection was with, obviously, the name of the book, Kill Your Darlings. I was just wondering where, like, if that old lady has killed her darling, which is the person that we see lying on the ground, and that the main character that we see from issue 1 to 4, she's obviously killed her mother through the fire. And, you know, I'm just wondering if there's, like, everybody has to kill their own darling, somebody that they love. Whether they mean it or whether they don't mean it.
I think that old woman on the right-hand side is the grandmother of the woman that's laying there. Right. So I think it goes, because she said, like, on the previous page, it says, oh, someone killed my grandson and granddaughter or whatever it is, and I wish they would have killed me too. So I think someone's killed her darling, and then obviously someone has killed Rose's mum's, like, darling. So I think it's a whole thing. But then, you could be right, Andy. That could have, like, totally skipped it, and that could be Rose's nan. Do you see what I mean? You've killed, because Rose killed her mum, which would have been her daughter.
Or maybe they're all related.
Yeah.
In some form or fashion. I don't know.
It's a great fucking comic, though. I'm not gonna lie. Tom.
Yes. I've got nothing really to add, to be honest with you, mate. I thought you kind of all covered it quite well. My only question is, I thought this story was about Rose's mum. I thought
this is about Rose's mum. Andrea.
Oh, yes. So Rose's mom is Andrea.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this tells the backstory of Andrea.
Gotcha. So you were saying about someone had killed Rose's mum.
Yeah. So in the first issue, in the first and second issue, Rose killed her mum. She burnt the house down.
Oh, we don't know that, do we? We don't know if that was Rose.
Yeah, we assume that's what happened. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she went into the mental institution, didn't she? And she kind of like was panicking. But I assume it is, and I kind of think this panel here on the right hand side with all the fire and stuff is kind of like a subtle Easter egg callback to actually what happened.
Well, I know, but that's a mum dreaming. So maybe it's a mum when she's drunk or whatever creates the flames. I think this is gonna. I think you're right. I think everything's going to be linked because each issue's had like a few pages of going back in history to a mother killing a child or a child dying through witchcraft or whatever. It's going to be like generations of magic users or witches or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Rose's mum killed herself by accident, set fire to the house.
Or Andrea, her mum lying in the bed there has had a premonition of how she's going to die.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We should write comics, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I will definitely take my hat off to the way it's been written and the artwork on this one, because as someone who has actually rocked up to a road traffic collision, this is actually really quite realistic. I'll have to be honest. It's literally how it would happen, or how I have seen it happen anyway. So yeah, fair play for the way they've done it. It's quite brutal, but yeah, I mean, great comic.
And you know what I like about this? It's coming out every couple of weeks. So you constantly, like, you're not waiting like a month or 2 months for it to come out. They're constantly churning it out, which is interesting. So yeah, this one, I've got to say, this one sits up at like another solid issue of a 9 for me, because this was the one I was most interested in reading.
Definitely the best comic this week, I think.
Yeah. So that's
I'd give it a 9 on the basis that I had the luxury of reading it from issue 1 to 5 straight through. I think whenever this comes out as a trade paperback, it's definitely the way to go as opposed to issue by issue, because I think you need all the story and the context of it to sort of piece things together. I think I got a little bit confused at times, and I found myself after reading this issue going back and reading issue 1 to 4 because it started to make sense based on what we found out in issue 5. So
I think if you were to read this as a standalone issue, say we didn't read all the other comics and just read this first, this is like one issue, just issue 5 out of the blue, you wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. And you would be like, that's not a great comic. You'd be like, this is a bit too brutal. But if you read all the other issues up until this point, it just kind of is a bit like a icing on top of the cake, if you like. Come on.
Yeah.
I just think it's constantly getting better and better every single week. Like every single week. I can't wait for this to get better. So then that's the Kill Your Darlings issue number 5. Then moving over, see, this was another strong comic. This is the Deviant issue number 3, written by James Tynion and the art by Josh Hickson. Main cover by Josh Hickson. Cover B is the Tyler Boss variant. Cover C is the 1 in 25 Jenna Char, and then cover D is the 1 in 50 Ricardo Lopez Ortiz. Tom, we kind of forced you into reading. That's all right. We kind of forced you into reading this, and obviously we know you kind of don't like clowns and like horror comics and stuff like that. So I'm going to throw you in at the deep end with this. You would have had 3 issues to read on this comic. What did you think of it?
So, like you said, I read all 3 issues back to back, issue 1, 2, and 3. I thought it was really good, to be honest. But I've got a real bug with James Tynion and the way he writes some of his books, because I kind of find them really convoluted and quite hard to follow. Like there's always there's a hidden bit in this bit, and there's a hidden bit in this bit, and I'm not quite fucking smart enough to work it out. But I found this one different to that, and I kind of found myself piecing things together before they happened. And I thought it was really cleverly written, in all fairness. I thought the artwork was really good. And I like how gritty the artwork is in places. Like when he's talking to the dude in the prison, how it's quite gritty. And then when it looks at the past about what's happened and all the violence is gritty. And then suddenly when it's not violent, it's quite smooth. The lines are really quite gentle, if you like. So I liked the contrast on that. I thought it was really good. But overall, as a comic book, and considering I'm not really a massive fan of horror, I really actually quite enjoyed reading them. I enjoyed these 3 books back to back more so than I enjoyed Cobra Commander, that's for sure. It wasn't as good as Kill Your Darling, but I thought this was really good, in all fairness. I think I will probably continue to read this. Thank you for bringing it to me and making me read it. I didn't shit my pants, which is always a good thing.
That's always a good. If you can read a comic with a clean pair of pants, that's always good.
Yeah,
Buzzy Dunlop, loving the Deviant. I think every issue has been solid. I'm a tiny bit worried that I'm going to be invested for 9 issues, though. I think 6 would possibly be enough. I am kind of leaning towards the same thing. Like I'll go back to Jeff Lemire's Little Monsters or Little Vampires, whatever it was. After 6 issues, I think we all said, "Oh, that's it," and then it came out, and then it continued for another 7. With this, I'm loving this. This is even though it's January, it's not Christmas no more. I still look forward to reading this. Like I think it's a gory comic. I think it's great. I understand what you're saying about James Tynion. He kind of throws in here's, there's, and everywheres, and you kind of sometimes you lose your trail of thought and you lose who the characters are and stuff. But this kind of just pushed the boundaries a little bit. There was things in there that I was like, "Whoa, hello!" Like I wasn't expecting to see penises and flaccid penises and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
But I was kind of like, right, this is where we're going. But they didn't shy away from it, which was good. But could you wouldn't be able to do that with DC Comics or Marvel Comics, which is why the indie comics are better, because they'll touch on the taboo subjects and stuff like that. This for me though was like the panel I picked, which was the one on the right hand side. You kind of get every single emotion what this guy's going through, and maybe it's just me, but the Santa's eye looks exactly like the guy on the left hand side. Looks like the eyes look the same.
Yeah, I agree. But isn't he the one that gets slashed by the Santa?
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something leading up to this. Like I've kind of just had my eye, ironically, excuse the pun, on him. I just think there's something. Maybe I don't know.
There's definitely something dodgy about the whole thing. I don't think the guy who's in prison did it.
No,
but then maybe that's you're being lured into thinking he didn't do it, and he actually did do it. Yeah. I don't know. It's really clever.
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I think I like the art. I like how faded the pages are and stuff like that. Like the artistic style and even the story just keeps me engaged. I'm just really glad that he was able to like sit down and enjoy it, and it wasn't as bad as you actually thought it was.
No, I suppose it's not a horror movie. I can get away. I suppose a horror comic I can. The anticipation is not as bad. There's not chilling music in the background. The lights aren't off. Do you know what I mean? I can have the lights on when I read this, and I can have like some gentle music going on in the background.
But Andy, Peter, what did you guys think?
You want to go first, Peter? Will I?
You, mate. You crack on.
Okay. So I like Tom. I read issue 1 to 3 all together. Again, I haven't been keeping up with this comic, but again, I'm so glad I did. This was my favourite comic out of the 3. I loved, and I'll probably my sort of synopsis of this isn't just going to be based on issue number 3. It's probably going to be an overall thought of the first 3 issues. But I loved the sort of juxtaposition of the fact that it was at Christmas time, which is obviously a time of joy and happiness and family and stuff like that. But it kind of applies to the backdrop of these horrific acts that are taking place. And I think what the artist has done phenomenally well in this is, you know, those pages where the crime scenes are. I was kind of taken aback by them. I like, you know, I think I almost like you told me it's like it was quite visual, and I was surprised that sort of you had said, oh, you know, I thought it was okay. I wasn't really that shocked, or you know, it didn't, you know, impact you as much. I think
didn't
it
shit my pants.
Me more. So. Yeah, exactly. I almost did. Some of those scenes were quite horrific on those pages.
Maybe I've just seen so much shit. I've forgotten what it's like to be frightened.
That's exactly it. Yeah, you've become numb to it. That's what it is. There was a really.
It's your fault.
There was a panel in this in issue 3 where they were sort of talking about the idea of men getting older and their inability to hide their loneliness, and that stopped me in my tracks because I was kind of like, wow, you know, that kind of resonated maybe as you get older as a male, you sort of like you drift away, like, you know, your kids drift away, they go and do their own thing, and you know. I just thought that really resonated me with that particular panel and page on issue number 3. There's definitely 2 stories that are happening with this that I found. I don't know if it was just me maybe overthinking it, but number 1 is obviously the horrific acts and the murders that are taking place. But I think for me that isn't, you know, that isn't the horror of this comic. The horror of this comic is the relentless bigotry that some of the characters are having to put up with because they're gay men. And it kind of shows you how a gay man has to deal with it in like the 70s and 80s, you know, the gentleman that's in the prison. And then it goes to present day almost, where they're talking to the person who's looking into this these murders and his boyfriend. So I think that's the most horrific thing about this comic is the horror, that the bigotry that these people had to obviously deal with. I'm all in this book. I think it's fantastic. I think there's definitely two stories, and I think James Tynion's definitely get something up his sleeve. We've got a surprise in store that will really sort of shock us in this one, because you can tell that it's brewing. And I think this is probably one of my favourite reads this year, I would say.
Good stuff, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you've all said. I'm more mindful of what Tom said about kind of understanding the book. Tynion's work for me, I love some of his writing, but it's the kind of work where you've got to really sit down and concentrate with, because it goes off in directions I'm not expecting. This should be a slasher horror comic, but you're touching on political kind of stuff, you're touching on homosexuality, and sometimes it goes into kind of conversations and discussions that I'm thinking, I wasn't expecting to be thinking that, absolutely agree with Fuzzy Butt. This is 9 issues, and I worry about that because did you guys keep up with Nice House on the Lake? That totally lost me off by the end of it,
what happened in the end of that?
I couldn't tell you, mate. I read it and I couldn't tell you. It was something about aliens and something, I don't know. I just worry that this will be drawn out too long. My personal gut feeling, and I know it might feel too obvious, but I think the guy writing the comic is the copycat killer. I think he's going around murdering people. That's kind of where I'm. Or is it his boyfriend? No, I think his boyfriend's gonna end up getting killed. I think, yeah. But yeah.
No, do you know what I think? I think you're onto something there, Pete. I think he's kind of he's found so much out about it that he wants to become, for him to complete his story, he wants to become the killer, and he wants to get like the first person evaluation of it. I think that's a good call.
Yeah. I mean, it feels too obvious. Do you know what I mean? It feels a bit too
writer.
Yeah. But Tynion does some great twists. I mean, and again, going back to the complicated nature of his writing, are you guys reading World Tree? That again is hard work. Do you know what I mean? So this is stronger, but like Fuzzy says, I'm not sure it'll be strong every issue for 9 issues.
Yeah, no, that's it. So out of all the 3 comics that we kind of reviewed this week, how would you grade them, Peter, from first to third?
I'm enjoying Kill Your Darlings or this. Cobra Commander definitely last. That's not saying it's a bad book. That's just saying it's not my favourite. It will be a real hard push between this and Kill Your Darlings. I'm going to go Kill Your Darlings number 1, then this.
Yep. Andy?
I'm going to go for the Deviant number 1, by far standout book for me. Kill Your Darlings number 2, and Cobra Commander number 3.
Thomas?
I'm going the same way as Pete. I'm going Darlings first, then Deviant, then Commander.
I'm going to have to go the same as Pete as well. I think Kill Your Darlings has been consistently great. This is a close second. I just do fear that it could potentially be dragged out further than the story entitles it to be, and then Cobra Commander number 3. So I think we're all kind of aligned that we've got similar reading tastes.
But if you were to do it off this issue, Charlie, rather than think about the future, how would you do it? So if you did it just off 3 issues, same way,
I'd still do it the same way. I think Kill Your Darling, the way that they've started that second chapter, and it was so graphic, and you don't really if you was to go back and read issue number 1 for Kill Your Darlings, you would not expect it to be where it is at now. You would kind of expect it to be like kind of Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons, I Hate Fairyland, Alice Never After, and stuff like that. You'd kind of expect it to be like that. And then now we're flipping to where like you're doing you're having a look at a backstory of a mum that's pregnant. She's just got rid of the bloke that she slept with. She's struggling to make ends meet, and she's just hit a girl on the side of the road. So the whole thing is just flipped on its side. Now you're kind of reading into a different story, which is great. I think Ethan and Griffin have done great on that, whereas this has been set out from the start that you know what this is about.
Yeah.
So
I think the other thing about Kill Your Darlings, which is amazing and it has drawn me straight in, is that you kind of forget that it's essentially a bit of a thriller horror comic because of the way it's drawn, and the artwork's really misleading. It kind of makes you think it's a bit like more of an animated kind of, this is going to be all right, or if it's like a bit anime type thing, and then it just throws a person under the car, literally. Yeah, it's good.
I think we're going to agree 3 great books, but 3 absolute stonkers, really. Can I just go off piece a little bit? Andy, I know we were talking earlier in the week. You've been reading Beneath the Trees That Nobody Sees.
Yes.
Great.
What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I was really worried at first when I first started reading it because I'd heard so much. Everybody loved it. And that sort of almost instantly puts you off, and it sets that bar. I thought it was wonderfully put together. I think the artwork was fantastic. And I think those pages at the end where it sort of sets up a kind of a dun 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 moment. It's like almost you can hear the EastEnders, I absolutely loved it. I would love to see it as an animation. If they could get away with it, I think that would be absolutely superb. Yeah, top marks for that book. Yeah,
good,
awesome. So obviously that's the 3 comics we're reviewing. Pete, you're doing the giveaway this week. So what we're going to do is obviously start the giveaway tool. It's going to be #Cobra. So Pete, how are we going to do this one, mate?
What?
So I've done the #Cobra. You just got to talk for the giveaway.
People just put #Cobra in the chat. I don't know if you've got an image or not, but so #Cobra, and then we'll do the generation thing in a bit. Pick a winner, and then I'll dig 5 comics out, and we'll just go through and pick 5 books.
There we go. But yeah, good evening, Optimist. Thank you very much for joining. Evening, all.
Hey, Darren.
It's past my bedtime now, Dad, so I hope you're all well. Gutted Beneath the Trees was delayed this week. Yeah, I was very, very much gutted about that. And then James just says, yes, that foil caught my eye as well. #Cobra, #Cobra. They're all going to start coming in now. So there we go. So it's that time of the week. We're at the Killer Indie Picks, which is for next week, which will be the February the 1st. So up first, I've gone for... Oh, no, Pete, this was you, wasn't it, sir?
Yeah, I am. Loving this, Tom. This is it. Oh, I'm not sure you like this one.
I don't think you'd like this.
I'll give anything a go now, mate.
Yeah, born again hard, aren't you? So this is The Devil That Wears My Face. By
I could
our
think of
friend.
a few other things I could do that with.
I'm sure. Our friend artist Alex Cormack, who just knocks it out of the park all the time. This is a twisted story about basically a priest who goes to an island to perform an exorcism. And you can see the cover, so no spoilers, I guess. But basically, the spirit, the demon, gets into the priest's body and goes back to the Vatican.
Father Vieri.
And just starts causing friggin' mayhem, killing people and stuff like that. This has just been consistently good. I'm loving the art style. I'm loving the story. This should be a movie for me. I think this would make a cracking little horror movie. But yeah, loving this.
Wasn't there once? I swear there was one made with Gabriel Bryan, who played like a priest, and he kind of get possessed and stuff like that. This is very similar to this.
Or something like Faith, I want to say.
It's very similar to this, but this is issue number 4. Like issue number 1, the way that ended, I think I messaged you straight away, Pete, and was like, fuck. Yeah. Oh my God, like he can't, like this, it's wicked.
I get feelings as well of a film. I don't know if you guys have seen The Count of Monte Cristo. Have you seen that film with Guy Pearce?
Yeah.
There's a bit in it, the last issue, which feels very much like that, because the priest who was locked up has now kind of assumed an identity of a rich kind of guy and gone back to try and Stigmata, yeah. That's
still a great film. Great film that is. Yeah, no, this is Andy, are you reading this?
I'm not, but I think we mentioned yesterday when we were doing the FOC show, the writer is the same writer for Scout's Honor. Do you remember that one, Tom?
Yeah.
Yes. Fucking horrendous book.
I don't think I've read that one.
Oh my God.
But
I think it was the shittest book we read that year until we read Grimlock.
I liked it. I enjoyed that only because I picked it. I had to enjoy it.
But this is Devil Wears My Face, issue number 4 by Mad Cave Comics. I've gone for Distillery Somna, issue number 2, Becky Cleenan and Tulilate on the art and also on the right as well. This is, like, I'm loving this. Issue number 1 was great. I got the Ash Can from Thought Bubble last year. It basically is what it says. It's a bedtime story for adults by Becky Cloonan and Tulilate. There's so much happening in it. Like, Tulilate for me is really, I've really grown to love her work because I didn't actually realise how seriously talented she is. I think her and Becky Cloonan released a video, I think it was an Instagram story on Thought Bubble last year, and it was just wicked to watch them paint in a blank canvas. Like, it's it's just wicked. Distillery, I think, are gonna grow massively. Like speaking to Chip Mosher last year at Thought Bubble, they've got so much planned. So much planned. They're going to be adding more artists. They're going to be adding more writers and stuff. So yeah, they're coming for everyone. And this is wicked. Have any of you read issue number 1?
I've got issue 1 and I want to read it. I keep forgetting about it, to be honest. But it's supposed to be really good, isn't it?
It's really, really good. Really, there we go. Look, so I'll just see this.
Really, really good.
Bunny Mask was pure mints. That was, oh my god! Do you actually remember that? Do you remember that? That was shocking. But yeah, pick up Somna issue number 2. Up next.
Yes.
Oh, it was me. I went for Duke issue 2. It's the follow-on from issue 1. And we're about to find out where Duke is gone to and why he's being hunted by the G.I. Joes. Excited for this one. Joshua Williamson.
Looks great.
Tom Riley. That's all I can say.
Joshua Williamson's also doing Cobra as well. So I think there's going to be some continuity across that because he's going to be doing both of them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like I think Transformers and this are the 2 out of the 4 that I'm most looking forward to reading. Yeah,
this has got some good vibes behind it, I think, Duke, and especially because I think they've done the G.I. Joe comic continuing on from where IDW left off, but they're going to end that, and then they'll start a new G.I. Joe comic from the back of Duke. So this is all leading up to a G.I. Joe book, which is going to be awesome.
Definitely. So that's from Skybound. And then I've gone for Charred Remains issue number 2. So obviously Charred Remains, let me just read it here. Vic's dreams of the fireman are becoming more and more real, but he refuses to admit to Amy what he saw in the flames. Meanwhile, Amy is searching for her friend who nearly lost to the blaze, but there's something Patricia isn't saying about Hope's house. Secrets spread nearly as quick as fire in this town. Backdraft.
Issue 1 was good.
Issue 1 was awesome. Yeah. I think I spoke to you about that, Pete. It reminded me of the that film. Have you seen the film Backdraft?
Yeah.
With the 2 brothers fighting and stuff, and it's very this was wicked. This was wicked. Mad Cave Comics absolutely killing it again. If you haven't read issue number 1, I'll tell you to jump on this because it's
fun fact.
I don't know much about Mad Cave Comics. They seem to just have appeared. I don't really. They've got some great books out, but I've not really been aware of them as a publisher.
Fun fact, Tom Gunn.
Sorry, I didn't know whether you'd heard me. Yeah, fun fact. The reason that firefighters know about backdrafts and how they actually work was because of that movie.
Really?
Yeah, so they weren't aware of how backdrafts worked or how dangerous they were until that movie.
That's an awesome film. Awesome film. Issue.
Also, have you ever seen a backdraft in real life? It's fucking quality.
No, I can't say I have.
I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a video.
So I've also picked this one as well because I thought this was pretty good, and I'm into my Ouija boards and stuff like that. I've always wanted to do one of them in a graveyard. So I thought, the Seance Room, Harry's Opus, issue number 1, written by Ben Templesmith and art by Ben Templesmith. Now this one is by Source Point Press, and it says Harry Wise, charming and sinister proprietor of the Seance Room, does his best to keep you present. He does that very well. This issue, masterfully drawn by Ben Templesmith, 30 Days of Night, challenges readers of comics to stay what they think is necessary for once and for all. I'm wanting to read this. This is right up my alley. Like I'm the type of person that goes to bed at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and then sits there watching My House is Haunted type of shit. So this is well up my alley. Andy, would you read something like this? I hope so. I'd love it to be.
I didn't even see this in the listings and stuff. It completely passed me by. But yeah, listen to the synopsis would definitely be one I'd give it a look. At least issue number 1. And Source Point Press have got a good sort of backlog of books that have been fairly decent. So yeah,
cool. And then this one, I'm looking forward to this one, Andy.
Yeah, this is the one I picked. I picked Moon Man, issue number 1 by Image Comics. Kyle Higgins and Scott Muscudi are doing writing, and Marco Licati is doing the artwork. The synopsis for this is Raymond is ready for a quiet life. Whatever went wrong on the failed moon mission, whatever happened in the missing minutes the cameras didn't capture, all he really wants is to settle down back home. But those missing minutes hold an earth-shattering secret, and with all eyes turned to him, Raymond will soon find himself becoming something the world has never seen before. Really intriguing, obviously loosely based on the moon landings of some sort, so it's obviously the time between them landing on the moon and the cameras cutting off and stuff like that. So yeah, I think this will be a really good story.
I'm looking, and it's, you know what I mean, Kid Cudi, love that. Image Comics. Look, there's some good Image Comics. There's some good like indie comics coming out next week. Sorry. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Obviously, Andy, you kind of started the whole indie thing. So for me, there's a massive thank you for swaying me that way, because indies are the first comics I kind of look at now. Like I'm kind of looking at Image and Mad Cave Comics and Source Point Press and Boom Studios and Antarctic Press and AWA and stuff like that. I would rather look at them instead of DC and Marvel. So thank you very much for that, mate. All them years ago.
I appreciate it. I think it helps with Thought Bubble and stuff like that. It's going to Thought Bubble because a lot of the independent writers and creators are there, which really backs up all the reading that we do during the year for all these indie books. And hopefully there'll be a few people who are watching at the minute or who are watching the rewind to help and sort of persuade you to go down that indie route. So
yeah. Boom. So that was the indie picks. We are now at the end of the show where we kind of just do a bit of housekeeping. We go through everyone's accounts. It's the Ant and Deck thing, isn't it? On the Saturday night takeaway. So you can obviously follow me over on Geeky Guy Comics. I'm really not active at all. I need to kind of get back into that. I kind of lost all my drive when my account got hacked about 2 years ago. So I kind of need to rebuild that up. And then obviously I'm over on Twitter at Geeky Guy Comics. Tom, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram either by Not Quite Mint. Again, same as Charlie, I'm not that active. I probably should do more. Or you can find me on my personal training page, which is TomMalin_PT.
Triple G, where can we find you, sir?
I'm grinning here because I'm feeling incredibly old because I've just had to Google who the hell Kid Cudi is, because you young folk were all like, oh yeah, it's King Cudi.
He's an American rapper.
No idea who that is. No idea.
But now I know that's his debut book. That's his debut book. So.
So I'm on Instagram and on X and all that kind of jazz as Triple G Comics.
And then Andrew, where can we find you, sir?
You can find my training page at perpetual.comics on Instagram. And you can also find me now and again on X, but mostly on Instagram. So please go and give me a follow if you haven't already done so.
I've got to say, I'm enjoying your stories that you're putting up and like the FOCs and stuff like that. You can definitely find that you found your love for the comics again. So yeah, keep doing that, mate, because it's very enjoyable.
Appreciate it. Yeah, let's see how long it lasts.
So we are here. What's the scores on the doors, George Draws?
Scores on the doors, George Dawes. Hold on.
We've had 762 votes. That's a good show. It's a good show.
The bots are back in town. The bots are back in town.
Ended or what? Can anyone see if it's ended? I can't see if it's ended.
Yes, it's ended. Yes, I won with 42% of the votes.
Oh, nice. Well done.
No, I'm only joking. Andy 2.0 and me came in third place. In second place was Andy 3.0 with 36%. And Andy with 42. I don't know who the fuck Andy and Andy with 42% of the votes was Andy, who won the comic by Andy and came first. There we go. Nice one, Andy. I was mate. I live in Croydon. It's a regular occurrence, Fuzzy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll have to get you back on the scoreboard, won't we? Because you're drawing with me, and it's your first appearance in God knows how many months. So yeah, I feel great. But yeah, no, well done. So this is the Killer Comic Show sneak peek for next week. So these are the 4 comics that we picked. They will go over on Instagram, on YouTube at 10:30. The vote will go live. So we've gone. Tom, you've gone first.
I've gone for Dear Editor. Actually, this one came up on my radar because Andy mentioned it a few months ago, and I think it might have popped up on his Instagram. So this one is basically a story about a dead John Doe, and this kind of editor from a magazine goes to investigate this murder. He just so happens to be a deer. So yeah, interesting story. I'm quite looking forward to reading it. It's also been written by Ryan K. Lindsay, who's actually a really incredible writer, so I'm quite looking forward to reading it, to be fair.
I read it today.
Is it good?
After we'd spoken to it. It's definitely worth a read. I'll save what I thought for if
all right, mate, cool.
I think we should definitely pick this one. Yeah.
Cool. And then Andy?
I went for Crashdown. So this is a book by Massive Publishing, aka Whatnot. and this is the first book that's been written by Comic Tom 101 of the YouTube fame and his sidekick
Tom
Fire
Garcia.
Guy Ryan. Yes, indeed. So they've written, and I think they've done some of the artwork and stuff like that. So I think there's a bit of a sort of furor over in the internet lands because it was picked as one of the keys of the week on Key Collector app. But the person owned up that they hadn't even read it yet. So I think it was a friend of a friend of a friend sort of thing. So yeah, I don't think that says much for the app, to be fair. But yeah, I'm intrigued for this one. I'll definitely give it a read even if we don't pick it. But it's Crashdown issue number 1.
Cool. I've gone for The Devil That Wears My Face issue number 4. We just literally spoke about issue number 3, and I think it'd be a no-brainer to read issue number 4. So yes, I'm looking forward to reading this. This was obviously the indie pick, so I've gone with that. And then Peter, last but not least.
Pure nostalgia for me. This is Saturday Morning Adventures by IDW, Dungeons and Dragons number 1. This is based on the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, which I absolutely loved back in the day. So I think they relaunched this last year. I read a couple of issues but dropped it off, so this must be a relaunch issue 1. So I'll probably pick this up and have a go of it.
But yeah, there are some pretty decent comics that are coming out. So these 4 will go into the vote for 10:30. You can place your votes, and then on Monday we will find out which 2 or 3 will be chosen, depending on how we're feeling that week. We might review 3 of them. Why not? So, but then obviously next week, Monday 29th, is the top 15 comic releases. That is a pre-recorded video that will go on a premiere at 12 p.m. on Monday the 29th, and then on Wednesday we've got Thank Fuck It's FOC. We tried something different this week. It seemed to work, so we're just going to keep evolving the show, keep getting on with it and making it better for you. Andy, Tom, Pete, have you got anything coming up this week? Pete, I know you have. You've probably got 16 shows coming out in the next 20 minutes.
Yep. I've got a whole host of videos. I've just put a video out on my review of Masters of the Universe Revolution. Has anybody watched it yet?
No,
very good.
Nope,
very good. Over on Netflix. And then I've got a Hordak action figure review coming out tonight as well. And then Friday night I'm going live with James for our horror show.
Nice. So before we do the pickups, what we shall do? Shall we end the giveaway?
Yeah.
So we end the giveaway, right? So if I do the draw now, there were 6 people that entered, and the winner is
Fuzzy.
Fuzzy. Oi.
Fuzzy.
All right.
So as usual, Fuzzy, let us know if you want them or not, but you'll get a pack of cards, because I know you've got some of these already, and you'll get a copy of The Weeping Blade by our good friend Kev, who's done the artwork on that. That's a cool comic. Box of comics, we'll pick 5. So guys, just tell us, start from the top. I can't say anybody apart from myself, my big fat face. Tell us when to stop and we'll pull comics.
Right, Andy 3.0. So Tom, you go first. Andy second, me third.
Stop.
How much time? Front or back?
Oh.
Or both?
Front. Always the front.
Always the front. Heard that about you. Next.
I'll go for the 17th comic from the back.
The 17th from the back, not a problem. You're a prick. 1, 2, 3. I'm going for that. Okay, next.
Keep going then. Stop.
Can you see me? Because I can't see you. This is really off-putting.
Yeah.
Front or back?
Back.
We've got naked.
Have you got naked? You whipped
Oh,
your,
we've put
whipped your
it on.
clothes off. Next.
Go on, Tom.
Stop.
Front. Always front for Tom. Yeah.
Always front.
1, 2, 3, 4. And next.
Andy.
The 17th from the front.
We've already had the set on. That makes another 17th, won't it? Yeah, fine. That one. Right. Fuzzy. Is Fuzzy still in the chat? I think he might already have this one, but if he hasn't, Fuzzy, tell us if you've already got this one, mate, and I'll send you a different comic. But this is the Comics Curing Cancer limited edition book.
Nice.
I think I might have sent you this one already, Fuzzy, so let us know, mate, and I'll send you a different book. But that's a limited edition comic. We have got, well, that's nice, Spider-Man cover.
Nice.
Right.
Fuzzy said he's got that one.
Put that one back, and I'll pick a one for you, Fuzzy. So Cosmic Ghost Rider cover.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's nice.
Sexy, like that. I've already showed you that one, haven't I? Yeah. That one. Oh, that's quite nice.
Oh, that's
Mary
wicked, yeah.
Jane and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That one. Oh, that's that lenticular
Oh,
cover we
that's that
talked about
cover
a while ago.
we had on here, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
not bad. Fuzzy's not read much Superman, so there you go, Fuzzy. Something to read.
Start now.
Andy's not read much Superman either.
That's a big, thick book. Don't know what that is.
It is.
Action
No
figure
real stuff.
variant, Spider-Man.
That's cool.
It says £10 on the front. I don't know what that is. Any idea where I'm getting that from?
Put it back.
But there you go.
Price, Peter. That's a price.
Okie dokie. So Fuzzy, you know where I am. I've got your address, but do us a favour, send it to us again, mate, on Insta, and then I can send it to you. Lovely.
Congratulations, Fuzzy. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Have some confetti. There we go. But yeah, that's it. So we are at the end of the show. And has anyone got any pickups? Let's take it away. So I'm looking at all three of you because I ain't got no pickups this week.
Not for me.
I have some.
Right, let's go then. Take it away.
You have some. You have some, or you have a lot.
Yeah, some. No, I have four.
What's the definition of
I think,
some?
here. Yeah, I've got four here.
Long boxes.
First up,
Four long ones.
if you shut up, I can go ahead and show all these comics that you keep taking the piss out of me for. Star Slayer issue number 2. Who can tell me who's the
Nice.
first appearance?
Me.
Amy Winehouse.
Rocketeer.
No. Rocketeer, correct, yeah.
Is it your first
of the
appearance?
Rocketeer.
Yeah. I've got
so there we
3
go.
copies of that. It's great.
That looks nice, that does. What age is that, Andy?
Late
80?
70s.
What's that,
Yeah.
bronze?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
sure.
he was born.
Wonder Woman issue number 55. A little bit of Jenny Frison.
Oh,
That's a nice
nice.
cover.
Say again.
That's nice, yeah, that is nice.
Who's the artist?
And we've got
Can't hear.
issue number 406, Fantastic Four. A little
He's
bit of
ignoring
Doctor
me.
Doom. Doctor Doom.
That's nice.
You're ignoring me.
Some J. Scott Campbell. You like that? Little bit
Who was
of,
the artist on the other one, Andy?
So I thought you'd like that one. Midtown Comics exclusive.
Yeah, I like that. It's nice.
And just to keep Tom happy, we have another Jenny Frison, Red Sonja, issue number 14. Thank you very much. That was
I wouldn't have said that was Jenny Frison.
No,
That was like 2014, 2015.
Okay. So
Early
early.
days.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that J. Scott Campbell one. That's nice. That was. Where did you get that one from?
That was eBay.
Oh,
It
nice.
actually came in today, that eBay. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's nice. Oh,
Do
wicked.
you know those ones that you've got there, Andy? The ones that aren't Marvel, like all his prequels to Marvel books, are all quite rare now. Like all those
Yeah.
kind of like Sabrina ones and like his Gen 13, and I think he did a True Blood one. I think that one's quite rare.
Oh, I true.
Yeah, the print counts for most of these are really quite low, considering you know what they would be for Marvel, or DC, or whatever. So yeah, they'll definitely, if you see them, pick them up.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely.
Peter, what have you got for us?
I've got a few buys and I've got a few gifts that have
Few.
come my way. I want to show off. I'm not going to show it. Still haven't unboxed all my whatnot stuff. So I need to show that. So this is Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. Very hot book at the moment. I went for the kind of the homage version to the original.
I was gonna say, is that the new one?
Yeah, it's a great story actually. I don't know if you guys have read it yet, but it's a
haven't, yeah.
really fun read. Andy, I know you've read it. It's a good book.
It's fantastic. It's the best Spider-Man I've read.
Yeah,
in
by
such a long
far.
time.
Yeah. So if you can
Yeah.
get a copy of issue number 1, it's going for decent money at the moment. So I got that. I got this cover. This is just, this is nothing exciting, but I just love that cover. Tom, I'm sure you picked
Yes.
that one up.
Love it. Yeah,
It's a
I've
really,
got that one
really
on.
nice wraparound cover. That's a pretty cool one.
John Boy.
My wife got us this. So over the moon with this. This is Patrick Stewart's autobiography.
Oh, nice.
Big
nice.
Star Trek fan, obviously. So it's a really good read.
Must be really
So,
good, that.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting that. He was doing a signing down Liverpool, I think, or somewhere, but I couldn't get tickets for it. Dr. Von Hoot sent us this, Mort Cinder, which is a
nice.
collection of horror stories. Looks very, very cool, black and white kind of artwork. So really looking forward to getting into this. This is right up my street. It just looks really interesting. So yeah, that looks very, very cool. And then I was sent this by a lovely guy who I've never met, but watches us on YouTube, and he sent us a great image of Skeletor.
Oh, I see that. That was awesome.
So
And his empty one as well was wicked.
yeah, so the original artwork's behind this, black and white,
The
and then this is a
empty
coloured version. Yeah,
It's awesome. Man.
but it's
so cool.
one.
the empty one. It's
I couldn't think of the word.
it's a homage
Empty
to
artwork you've got is
Huntress
amazing.
Squad. So, yeah.
That's nice, man. That is
And
nice.
then the last thing I've bought recently, which I was really supposed to show off tomorrow night, but I'm going to show it off now because I love them.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Look at that. Isn't that?
Where did you get that from? It's me.
Came all the
Where
way
did you get
out
that from?
From Australia. It came from Australia, but it's a Trick or Treat Studios one. It's actually a hand puppet. You can put your hand in and move your
for it.
mouth and stuff.
Go
like
for
that.
it.
My fat hand doesn't fit in it. My son's hand does, but my chubby digits don't. But yeah, so it's a full size gremlin. So
That looks fucking
Pretty cool.
awesome, man. I'm
I
trying to
need a
get my
gizmo
kids.
now, but
I'm trying to get my kids into watching Gremlins and stuff, and they're like, "What are you talking about? What is that?" Question: Is Gremlins a Christmas film?
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Yes, 100%.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's some good pickups, man. There's some good pickups. I need to get out a lot more. Where I work from home now, I don't get to go to the comic shop, and I refuse to go to a place in space now. So my local comic shop is Slab Crusaders. So that's it. But yeah, that's another good show, guys. Another good show. We are back on Monday at 12 p.m. for the 15 top covers comics coming out that week. Then you've got Pete on his Monday night show. Then you've got us on the Wednesday for Thank Fuck It's Wednesday. Then we're back on Thursday, and then you've got Pete on Saturday as well. So yeah, we're taking over. We've got everything to tickle every single fancy that you need. And if there's anything else that you want Peter to with his videos and his content, if there's anything else, just drop him a line, and I'm sure he's got some spare 15 million hours in a day, can put something together. Why not?
Free slot, I'm sure. I love
Why
a
not?
free slot.
Why not? But yeah, guys, another awesome show. Enjoy what you're reading. It's Friday tomorrow. Enjoy your weekend, and we shall see you as we do every single week over on the other side. See you later.